Quite some time ago, was on a journey of doing things a little more efficiently, doing things better, becoming a more capable and competent man in today's society. And even though that might be a complicated subject, that's not necessarily what I'm going to be talking about specifically today. Today I wanted to go over what was most important in order for me to become the man I am today was actually stop giving a fuck about literally anybody's opinions on what you want to do. If you want to be rich, if you want to be successful, if you want to be capable, if you want to completely change the trajectory of your bloodline, you need to be the kind of person that puts in the work day in and day out. And you need to stop caring what other people have to think about that. You need to stop caring about random people on the street. You need to stop caring about your friends and family's opinions. Now, don't necessarily do this 100%, but take them into account and then figure out if what they're saying is actually valid or not. For the most part, most people are very emotional. So when it comes to emotion, what happens is people often tend to come up with some bullshit that, oh, you're making me scared, or you're making me afraid, or you're making me intimidated, and so on and so forth. Things that don't actually matter, right? So basically, by being the kind of man that doesn't cave in to feelings, to yourself, to your own feelings or to the feelings of others, you can become the kind of man that actually gets shit done. And you can actually be the kind of man that actually makes progress. Because the only thing that matters at the end of the day is the rules of cause and effect, of reality, of what are you going to do today and what is that going to result in? What kind of action are you going to take today in order to improve your skills? What kind of action are you going to take today in order to make more money, in order to get more people to pay you more money? What kind of actions are you going to take today in order to become a more capable man? Who are you going to talk to? What are you going to look up on your computer? What are you going to improve on? What are you going to think about? All of these things are things that not that many people actually want to do anymore. Most people sit around doing things all the time, but they're not focused on the most important thing in their life. This happens very, very often, more often than you actually think. It happened to me quite a few times throughout my life, where I would focus on a video game, or I would focus on watching a movie or a TV show, or literally anything else than the most important thing that I could have done right then and there. And even though that wasn't necessarily the right decision at the time, I still understand that it is okay that I made those mistakes, because I managed to learn from them. That's very important. The simple fact of you being able to learn from your mistakes allows you to do so many more things, but you need to catch yourself. You need to make yourself aware of what you are doing. Because if you don't, and you go through the world cruising emotionally, not really caring about anything that happens, and we just figure it out along the way, and we'll see what happens, then what ends up happening is you let other people dictate what your life is going to look like. The people you meet, what they say, what they do, instead of what you say, what you do, and what you have to push forward with. By taking control of your own actions, your own brain, your own mind, your own body, you are able to do so many more things. The man in control of himself rules the world. Because if you are in control of yourself and you learn so many things that allow you to understand other people, not only the people who are emotional, but the people who are also in control of themselves, then you can change the course of reality to whatever you want it to be. You get to bend reality to your will. And you get to make reality for what it is. Now, of course, you can't break the laws of science. Like, that's not how it works. But you can talk to this person here, talk to this person there, push forward this project here, push this action over there, talk to this person, introduce these two people, whatever it may be. Okay? You can do things. And by strategically thinking through everything, you can make the right moves that allow you to go further ahead faster. Now, usually in my videos, I like to give some examples of the concepts that I talk about. I'll give you a little bit of an example. There was this time where 4 years ago, I told my parents I really wanted to just work for myself and figure something out and learn a high income skill that I'd found online, this course, and just figure it out myself because I didn't see myself working a job. And they said, yeah, but what are you going to do if it doesn't work? You don't understand, how are you going to make any money? How are you going to pay the bills? How are you going to help us out? And I told them, I will figure this out. I will figure this out. It doesn't matter how much time it's going to take me. I will figure this out. And we will be better off by the fact that I've figured it out. Now, it might take me a year. It might take me 5 years. It might take me 10 years, but I will get there. And I will reap the benefits from this lesson, from these actions that I've taken over the course of a couple years. Depends on how much time I've put in. So far, I've invested over 4 years into this. And I've told this story many times. The first 2 years, I was basically just learning the skill and putting it into practice for free for other people, testing it around, flirting with the idea of what I could do and could not do. I learned a lot of lessons during that time, but most importantly, I reshaped my mindset to become the man I am today. I went through excruciating bullshit, excruciating mistake after mistake after mistake, hundreds of mistakes, thousands of mistakes, in order to create the character that I am today, that was built upon a foundation of mistakes. Because I didn't just make mistakes and then just repeated that. I made mistakes and I figured out how I could not make that mistake ever again. And I improved. And this is something everybody can do. So over the course of the first 2 years, I made a lot of mistakes. And it shouldn't not have taken me that much time, to be perfectly honest with you. Now that I think about it, if I had what I have today, I would have been able to get started in a couple months. But hey, we grow, we learn, and we move forward. So for the past 2 years, I've been getting paid by clients, and it's been actually working. Which I'm grateful for, but I'm still dissatisfied with the amount of money I've closed. So I sit here and I talk to you guys and I share this lesson. And the core of this lesson is, one day, you know, when you're like, let's say you're very insecure about your weight, and you get into the gym and you start working out, and you're like, oh, people are gonna judge me, they're gonna see that I'm fat or I'm skinny and I look like shit, and they're gonna judge me on my appearance. This was me before. I used to be over 100 kilos overweight, super fucking fat, not very confident, very egocentric actually. And I remember having panic attacks when I used to go to the public pool with my classmates in high school. Because since I was so lacking in confidence, I found myself thinking that people would judge me so much more harshly than I would. But in fact, in reality, real fact, I was judging myself way more harshly than other people were. Now, of course, I cannot be within the minds of other people. I'm not a telekinesis mind reader, if you know what that is. But I have this tendency of thinking, if nothing is perfect, don't do it. This is what I used to do before. So it got me to the point where I felt so insecure about myself that I just got in the gym and I started exercising literally every day. So every day at 5 a.m. I would wake up. Usually I would go to class at like 9. 5 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. I would wake up and I would put my tracksuit on and I would go for a run for like 30 minutes outside. I would do like, I don't fucking know, laps around the park or something like that. Or like training field. And I would then get home, take a shower, eat my breakfast, go to class, and then once I got home around 1 p.m., I would then go to the gym, and then I would eat some food when I got back. And then I would play some video games or finish the day with studies that I needed to do for the next day. And this was my schedule for a long time while I was in my 3rd year in my private university. So I must have been, I must have been 19 or 20 years old, something like that. Probably more like 20, 21. 20 years old, 21 years old, around that period. So started doing that, and then I was like, you know what? This is shit. So I quit private school. Told my parents, and then I just grinded in the gym like every fucking day. Just fucking gym every day. Gym. And I got to the point where I was learning so many things about nutrition and diet and getting better in the gym, different technique, pushing myself, growing, doing better. And I started getting a pretty okay physique. Now, it wasn't good enough, but it was pretty good. Now, looking back at that, I put myself through a bunch of shit over the course of like a couple of years. And I've been going to the gym for like 5 years now. And it's funny because I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I'm in a good position, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be. So, what I've noticed is that you need to stop giving a fuck about what other people think about you, or what you think other people think about you. Because it's limiting your growth as a character. The point being, me telling you this story is to make you realize that I'm just another human like you guys. I'm not some magical creature out of a fucking fantasy book, alright? I had my problems, I had my flaws. I started from very kind of mid position, to be honest. But I still figured it out. At the corner of my street, there used to be drug dealers. They had this drive-through where they would deal drugs at the corner of my street, but maybe like 100 meters down the road, very close by. And every day I would go out and I would do my stuff, and I would see these people. And you know how that feels? Like, it's kind of like, it feels like you're in an unsafe environment. Like, the cops would show up like maybe like once every month, every couple months. You'd be like, this is fucking shit. So I changed it. I stopped giving a fuck about anybody else around me, what they had to say, what they had to think. And I just focused on grinding myself into becoming a better person. And then everything started snowballing from there. And now here I am in a completely different country. I've moved countries. I used to live in France. Now I live in New Zealand. And I own my own company. I have clients that pay me money. I have work to do. I go to the gym every day. My nutrition's in check. I help people on a day-to-day basis. I'm much more socially active than I was before. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm in a pretty good spot. I've dated a couple women here and there compared to before. You know, when I was in France, what was funny is I was so insecure that I never actually dated anybody over there. So, realistically, I only really had real relationships ever since the past 2 years. That's it. So the lesson I want to give you guys that you're gonna leave this video with is that you need to stop caring what other people think about you, or that you think they think about you. And you need to focus on just taking action every day. Just taking action every day. Do as best that you can. Do more action. Do more things. Fail more. Like, even if you're not very good at something, just fail. Just fuck it up. It's fine. You need to stop being afraid of failing. You need to stop being afraid of what other people think about you. You need to stop limiting your growth. And with that said, you have the power to change your own life. It is within your own hands and within your own mind. You just need to find it. And you need the human mind is actually quite astonishing how much shit it can go through and still survive. can adapt to quite a lot of things. So if you can use this to your advantage, you'll figure out a way to grow into a better, more respected man. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. I see the channel's going a little bit better. I've created a bunch of new shorts. So I'm going to be posting those once a day as well. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments about these videos. If you have any different topics you would like me to talk about, chuck them in there. Otherwise, stick around. I post videos every day around the same time. And with that said, it's a beautiful day. There's time to get back to work. And I will see you in the next one. See ya.